You're listening to the Codependent Millennial Podcast with Sophie Shiloh, Episode 20, Suicide. At the end of this episode, I list several phone numbers and websites of organizations that you can call if you're feeling suicidal, if you're experiencing abuse or trafficking, or if you know someone who is. You can also find all of these numbers and links in the show notes for this episode. I love you so much. I want to preface this episode by telling you a little bit of my own story with suicide. For me, in my life years ago, I didn't believe that I deserved to be happy. I didn't believe that I deserved happiness or peace, and I certainly didn't believe that I deserved to pursue it, have it, or enjoy it. I had lots of beliefs about myself and what I did and didn't deserve. I was dealing with martyrdom, guilt, shame, distrust of God or the universe, self-loathing around my personality and my body, hating my body, wanting to escape a situation that I felt out of control in, desperation over not being able to change others, and not knowing how to be okay otherwise. I did some pretty reckless things in order to hopefully end up dead. I put myself in situations and places where I was likely to die. That was my hope. That was the goal. Thank God it never played out that way. Ultimately, I realized that I didn't want to die. I just wanted a different life. The first step to getting that, the first step to building that life of happiness and peace, was believing that I deserved it, or at least entertaining the possibility that I deserved it. I wasn't willing to believe that I deserved everything I wanted, but I was willing to believe that maybe I did. Start where you are, my loves. There's no shame in that. That simple but profound step, deciding to entertain the thought that I deserved to feel better than I did in the moments when I wanted to die, was when I started living my life for me. And the concept of this was absolutely terrifying to me for so long, living my life for me. I didn't feel as if my life was mine, and so thinking about living my life for me felt wrong. But I started to do it, even though I was terrified, and it was the best decision I've ever made and continue to make. I got a coach, and she's still my coach today. I learned to listen to and follow my intuition. I stopped blaming others for my unhappiness. I learned about my brain. I took radical responsibility for my life. I started 2 businesses. I traveled the world. I moved into my dream apartment. I started being able to contribute to the world in meaningful ways because I wasn't just trying to survive anymore. I learned to love myself and love being alone with myself. And I learned how to support and love myself through the episodes of depression that still come up sometimes. In short, I became me. The suicidal thoughts never fully left, but I don't need them to. They can exist as long as they want to, because I no longer take them seriously. I no longer let them sit at the table when I'm making decisions for my life. The thoughts that pop into my head that say, you should definitely kill yourself, do not get to inform my actions, and they never will, ever again. You have the power right now to decide the same thing. You can decide that those thoughts simply do not get to determine your actions. No matter how strong those thoughts might get, no matter how strong a hold those thoughts seem to have on your mind and your heart, you have the power always, always, always to decide that they don't get to inform your actions. Decide not to engage with these thoughts, not to argue against them, because they are relentless and they will never admit defeat. Your best strategy is to disengage. They can have no control over you if you refuse to acknowledge them and give them that legitimacy. Don't negotiate with terrorists. Don't negotiate with these thoughts. Eventually, I was able to get to a place where I stopped seriously considering what these thoughts had to tell me. I heard them, I was aware of them when they came into my mind, but they meant nothing anymore. I saw them for what they were, illegitimate suggestions coming from a place devoid of love. That's not a place I wanted to be taking my directions from, so I stopped. Emotions cannot kill us. Thoughts cannot kill us. Memories and things that happened in our past cannot kill us. Other people's words can't kill us. Other people's opinions about us can't kill us. We are so much more powerful than all of these things. Even if you don't believe that right now, I promise you it's true. It might feel sometimes as though an emotion is so strong and painful that it will overtake you and just kill you, or that you will be forced to end your life because the pain is just so unbearable. But I promise you, there really is no emotion that you cannot survive. There is no emotion that you cannot feel and eventually grow to benefit from. I mean that. You know how I feel now that I've wrestled with my own brain while it tried to convince me to kill myself so many times? I feel like a fucking badass. I'm literally invincible. A few years ago, during the tail end of a period of depression I was experiencing, I went to visit a friend of mine in California. If you're listening, hi, I love you. For some context, I had just experienced a few things that challenged me more than anything else ever had. I had survived a time in my life that I didn't think I would. I was still feeling broken, but I had no choice but to acknowledge my own strength just for being alive. So this friend of mine took me skydiving one day. It was a complete surprise, and I was like, oh fuck no, I'm not doing this. But something in me knew that I had to. We got into this tiny, tiny plane that was smaller than my car and super rickety. We took off and we started climbing. We were going to jump at, I think, 7,000 feet or something. And when I thought we were there, when I thought we must be up 7,000 feet, I asked my guide if we were leveling off soon. And he just laughed and he was like, oh, hell no, we're at 2,000 feet. Hang on. We still had like 5,000 to go. So eventually we got to 7,000. We were over the ocean. And we jumped. Those minutes were some of the best of my life. We hit the grass safely, and all I could say was, thank you, thank you, thank you. And all I could think was, I can do anything. I can literally do fucking anything. Literally, I am alive. After all that I've been through, after everything that happened, after jumping out of a motherfucking plane, I am alive. I am invincible. I can do anything. And this is how it feels to have survived my own brain trying to get me to decide to kill myself. Knowing that I had the strength to decide otherwise is invigorating. And I promise you, you have this strength too. No matter what, you can decide to live, and that decision will be worth it. If you doubt this, if this seems impossible to you now, that's fine. That's normal. You don't have to trust me that the decision to stay alive will be worth it. You just have to trust me that it might be. That there is maybe a 1 in a million chance that at some point your life might be less terrible than it is right now. That's all you need to hold on just a little bit longer. You are so much more powerful than you know, and you have the power to build a life that is so much more amazing than you can even imagine. I know because I did it. I can tell you this because I lived it. I never thought it was possible, but I did it. And even if you can't see how, know that you can too. I promise you. For now, you just have to take your next breath and the one after that. I love you. I want to take a minute to address bullying and abuse directly. If you are getting lots of hate, verbal, emotional, or physical, directed at you from people on the internet, people at school, people in your family, or complete strangers, remember that when someone loves themselves, they do not treat others with cruelty. If people are saying or doing horrible things to you, imagine what kind of deep, deep pain those people are in. Please know that someone abusing you is never about you. It's never because of something that you did, even if the abuser claims that it is. Abuse is about the abuser. Abuse is the responsibility of the abuser. The abuser made the decision to abuse you, and that decision can never be placed upon your shoulders. I want to encourage you to not take part in this abuse cycle by telling yourself that you caused the abuse. This is never true, I promise you. Know that you deserve safety, love, and respect, and know that you deserve to pursue these things. Please reach out to me if you would like to. My email is sophie@codependentmillennial.com, or use any of the following resources. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. The Trans Lifeline Hotline is 1-877-565-8860. The Trevor Project LGBTQ support hotline is 1-866-488-7386. If you're a child under 18 experiencing abuse from a parent or a family member or anyone else at all, call or text 1-800-422-4453 or visit childhelp.org. That's childhelp.org. If you've been raped, call 1-800-656-4673 or visit rainn.org. If you're experiencing domestic violence or abuse, call 1-800-799-7233 or visit thehotline.org. If you're listening to this and you are being trafficked or know someone who might be a victim of human trafficking or sex trafficking, call 1-888-373-7888 or text 233-733 or visit humantraffickinghotline.org. That's humantraffickinghotline.org. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're in crisis and you need to talk to someone, use the numbers and websites I just mentioned, but also please know that you can reach out to me as well at any time. My email is sophie@codependentmillennial.com, and I will always write back to you. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to this episode, please share it with them. And if you don't, share it anyways. Put it in your Instagram stories or on your Facebook page. You really never know when someone is struggling with suicidal thoughts and needs some encouragement to keep going. You might think, oh, that won't make a difference, that share won't make a difference, sending this text won't make a difference, I can't make a difference, but you're wrong. You really can. If our conversation today resonated with you and you want to learn more about one-on-one coaching with me, send me a DM on Instagram at codependentmillennial and let's talk about all of the amazing things that are possible for you. I can't wait to connect. Until then, have a gorgeous day.